How's it going, you guys? I'm gonna go ahead and do my I guess mild build on this. I'm not gonna do a full-on out build just because I'm gonna be stripping this thing all back down to use all the parts, but I don't know, we'll see. I know, just do the basics, that way people can get a kind of idea of it. Now, right now I don't really can't ride this because the snow is just crazy outside here and ice. So let's get started. Come on, get on there. There we go. Alright, so you can tell I've already done just a couple things. Got the handlebar set right and the gooseneck tightened up just so it ain't flailing around and stuff like that. Went ahead and slid the rear end on, but it's not hooked up, so gotta go through and bolt that up. Also, I'm going to probably put the pedals on, show some of you guys a trick for doing the pedals. I don't even know where I put them at because I'll put the ones on that came with it because I'm not going to use them anyway. So let's grab them and get started. And I do believe this was them right there, and this is their rear derailleur that came with it, just plain old Shimano. So should have a 15 in here. Most pedals are 15. Usually most pedals they'll have a right and a left on here. You can always watch two. The left usually has striations right here on the pedal too. It's usually a quick giveaway that the right, and here's the right one. As you can see, it's smooth. So usually what I do is I go ahead and get the pedal started on there. And like I said, I'm not using these because these are super cheap on the actual conversion build. Let me move this out of the way. The chain isn't hooked up, but on a speed bike, normally just put your let me see if I can get my 15 wrapped around there. Just pedal backwards and it'll tighten your pedal on there. Sometimes I hold the other side. I do the left one first and then the right one, and I hold the right one as I can to go ahead and tighten it up some too. Then just torque it down there. It's a good time to check and see. If you move your crank arm like this, you can tell, make sure your bottom bracket and everything's all tight in there, and this is actually fairly tight and not going anywhere hardly. Actually, it ain't moving at all. It's just that moving in my stand. Next is the rear end. Rear end slid on with these 3 bolts on. Well, the 2 bolts here. Then I had to take this one off and put it in through it. It's the same on this side over here too, as you can see. So I just got to tighten them up. Them look like they might be a 17. So let me see. Yep. Grab me a ratchet. More than likely I'll throw a extension on here. These are carriage bolts that's holding that in there too. So that's gonna make it interesting for me when I try and fix this to the other frame. Most bikes, when you buy them just conventional 2-wheeler, just don't have to do anything to the rear end except for adjustments because the wheel comes already on there. So it's always good to double check, make sure that them are somewhat already going down in the pocket since it's a carriage bolt. this one's interesting because I think the other bike I done, I guess you could take this out if you wanted to. The drive was on this side, not the other side. I guess it just depends on where they come from. I'll go ahead and pull this off. And pull this side off, and this is a spacer to even out for this side over here, I do believe. So let me take this off. I just want to put these on because I want to do the front wheel next, but if I here's the drive side, and this goes on. Just slide that on right there. Let me hold this. This one's gonna be tricky. There we go. And put your washer back on. Grab this other one. I guess it doesn't matter which way it goes, other than make sure you get your tires running the same way. Alright, so there we go with that. Now let's grab the front wheel. Now the front wheel, it came with this off, so I put it on, put thread locker on there. Should always do that on stuff like that, just so it doesn't come off. And just slide it up in there. I haven't put the caliper on yet for this. That should be a 15 too, and I got a speed wrench right here I'm going to use. Normally, if I was building a bike, it would have a cordless impact. You usually want to, when you get to this point, try and watch and make sure that your wheel is centered in here. As you can see, this hole is drilled in here for a brake or a fender, and it definitely is not centered. So just kind of watch for the actual center of this and not that hole. And just tighten that down. Here we go. And you can usually, sometimes I'll use my hand to try and judge the difference between the two. If something looks like it's a little off, I'm not going to sweat it too much because I got different forks I'm going to use on the other one. Now this is the caliper for the front. And where's the bolts? So it's better lighting on this right here. There we go. Now, so next, this is why I usually wait to put the caliper on. That way I can just slide it on there and gotta fight the wheel too much. I'll just get these started. Let me get the other one. Go. Got my Y tool here, and that should be a 5. It tightens that down to there. Tighten that, and more than likely I'll reuse the brakes off the GT instead of these. But you can so go ahead and tighten bit. Not too hard to do. Here, it's not really rubbing and stuff like that. On these, I will, alright, there we go. It's pretty good. This is the cable that they sent for the front. So we'll just undo this real quick. And it only has just the one hoop to send it through right there. Definitely not a high quality cable, because this thing is just not very malleable at all. Just pull that out, slide this in here. Oops, didn't want to do that. Let that lock through. Got your little splices right here. Spin that to where them line up, and just kind of spin that over, shove your cable back in, then turn it to where they're not even. Then now I'm going to go back to your caliper, slide this cable through down like that, and what it does is there's a little squish joint right there. Just slide that cable in through there. Make sure you got all your cable out. You kind of rotate these up some just so it'll take out some of the slack. Then I'll just spin a little bit, see if it's rubbing or not. Then I can back it off a little bit and tighten it back up a little bit. And that ain't too bad. That just sounds like a slight bend in the disc. That's what that is. But that's all you got to do. Not too hard. And honestly, a lot of these you can use a little bit and it'll straighten out. They make tools to straighten these out with. I've seen professional guys come in and these have a slight bend, and like you need to order a whole new wheel because your rotor has a bend. You can take and just tweak that. Park and other companies make a tool that just slides down on there, and you can kind of bend it as you go through, stuff like that. But so that's the front brake right there. I guess the neat thing is this has the parking brake feature on it, so it don't roll around on you. You park it on a hill and it ain't gonna go rolling. I don't see anything really happening like that, but that's all good. Now let's see about the back. This is the cable for the back right here. It was run. It goes down through underneath the frame. It comes out over here, and then I'll have to back it off some. It goes pretty much the same. Well, this one's different. It's coming around and it pulls backwards. So what I'm going to have to do is run me some slack down through there. And I guess I will bring this up over here. Let's see if we can get enough slack out of that. Oh yeah, I have plenty. I just didn't have it run how I needed it. It was bunching up down here. There we go. So this one goes opposite of the front. Just no big deal, other than, sorry, it's right there. It's probably going to be a pain in the butt to get get underneath there and hook that up. So they actually, with the kit, sent one Y with it, but it's a little bit smaller, might be easier to get in here. And we'll see. There we go. So I just bent that down some so that I can get in there to that. Now this caliper is the same. It's just going to go up through, thing like that. Always make sure when you're doing them that brakes in your pocket right there. Sometimes you can take your barrel nuts right here, screw it out a little bit. If you get it too tight, you can just come back up here and loosen that up, give you some play in it. Just don't want to take too much, because then you won't have a on the fly adjustment if you take it all out. So let's go ahead, take that, it's up through there, and then we will just tighten this up. If we can get in back in there. Nope, wrong one, wrong 5, that was the 4. There we go. Now look down through here, and sometimes you can look down through and tell if your brake's rubbing too much. You can unscrew. If you unscrew the outside, it'll pull that out some. But I think I'm gonna try and see if I take this little bit of slack out, if it'll stop that rub, which I think it will. It's got a slight rub, and I think that's just because that rotor's not totally straight, which is no big deal. I could probably tweak that with my hand. Get that to where I need it. All right, right there. And I could probably check and see if I could adjust it on the posts.